What's going on, everybody? It's Dot Bets. We're checking back in. We got our AT&T Byron Nelson breakdown PGA show coming at you guys here with my man at Teaser Nation. How are we feeling this evening?
Good, man. Last week was a little weird. It was just I did decent in the placement market, but Wyndam Clark running away with that was a bit weird. I know you had Xander. I was rooting for him, but he just got outplayed. I mean, you can't even say he choked because he just got outplayed. But he didn't do much on Sunday. And then another tidbit, man. I think I'm just done chasing Cam Young's first win. I think I'm done.
So disturbing.
It's too. I'm done doing it. It's going to be 20-1 every week, man. You just can't do it anymore.
I love the way that we attacked last week. It was great. We rode the chalk a little bit, with Young and Hovland, but then we were like, you know what? Those can definitely shit the bed, and that's exactly what they did. So, I mean, Hovland, that +6 final round was just horrible for a top 20. Horrible for the top 20.
Oh, yeah. And then another thing is, I mean, I had top 20 JT, Homa. Those both hit. JT, man, he doesn't do anything on weekends. It's just annoying. He goes 4 under. And I'm like, all right, he's going to push the leader. Then he goes like 5 over on the back 9. And then Homa, man, I was in the Discord all week. He played awesome except the putting. It was unreal, man. But he somehow still got it tied for 8th. We cashed that top 10, but split 7,000 different ways, but it's whatever.
I actually went one more time and I hit it again on Sunday. And I'm sitting there like, I was like, don't be a dead heat. Don't be a dead heat. And then boom, dead heat. I was like, crap. It just wasn't ideal. Wasn't meant to be. But I mean, if I would have hit Xander or Hatton, I would have I'd have blown up Twitter just because it's like, that would have been 5 out of 6 on the show. That's just an unreal streak. We stayed away from Cantlay. We stayed away from some of the, from Spieth. Yep. So this week for the Byron Nelson, it's a little bit different. We have a very top-heavy field. The main thing is what to do with Scottie Scheffler in your DFS lineups. The main thing this week is to try and figure out if he's going to win this damn thing or not. If you've tuned into this show plenty of times, you'll probably understand our perspective over Scottie Scheffler this weekend. I think this is a very comparable field to something like that Mexico Open that Finau won, where it was Finau and Rahm. You kind of have Hatton and Scheffler, those two heavyweights up top, and then the bottom is kind of scattered with a lot of people that could, in fact, win this tournament because a lot of people can shoot very, very low when you need to.
Yeah.
They get hot. So we have some outrights for you guys. We'll save those for the end of the show. We'll have teaser break down the course, what we're looking for statistical wise this week. And then we'll go through some placements and talk DFS strategies as well. And if you guys are tuning in for the first time, make sure you guys leave a comment and hit that retweet button if you guys are on Twitter. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Love to hear from you guys. And let us know if you guys have been cashing with us. We've hit 4 out of our last 6 shows. I've had an outright winner. So make sure you guys tune in. We'll also give out our official card afterwards, usually around 8 or 9 Eastern. That's when we throw them out there. So without further ado, teaser, let's break it down for us and let's get into it.
Yeah, so this is a long course, TBC Craig Ranch. I think this is the 3rd year they're using it, par 72, 7,500 yards. Just a couple things about it. It's a pretty easy course. It's, like you said, kind of like the Mexico Open. Suits long drivers, wide fairways that are pretty forgiving. So off the tee is not very important here. It's literally a birdie fest and a putting contest. So we're going to try to – it's kind of risky to, kind of cap putting, but I'm going to try my best this week to kind of go with good putters and hopefully I don't get screwed like last week.
You're flipping a coin there. Yep.
Flipping a coin, but hopefully, but this is the last 2 years. It's literally good putters are up there. So we'll see if that trend continues. Couple course comps, the Mexico Open at Vidanta is one 2 weeks ago, the Detroit Golf Club and TPC Twin Cities, which is in Minnesota, I believe. Key stats. I talked about it. Strokes gained putting is going to be massive this week, although it's very volatile. Birdies are better gained. That's another one. You're going to have to make birdies this week. So we're looking at opportunities gained and birdies are better gained.
I have that. I literally have that statistical popped up on my screen right here, and I'm just picking from it the entire weekend. That's all I'm doing.
Yep. Yeah, I agree. It's probably the only thing you really need to look at. Strokes gained approach, you still kind of want to look at where guys are at.
Hold on. You keep going.
All right. But really, the players I'm really looking at this week, it really just centers around making birdies, like we just said, and capitalizing on easy scoring conditions. It's going to be windy because it's Texas, but the course is just so easy that doesn't really matter to these guys.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Yep.
Yeah. So, I mean, really just the two things we kind of a summary of like who I'm looking at this week, just to narrow it down, is take guys who can putt or who are known for their putting. And I guess a little bit of approach play you kind of need as well. So those are the two things. So yeah, that's just a breakdown. It's just going to be like a BS type thing. Like, what I'm going to try to aim at this week in the placement market's just a couple guys that are, plus 2 to 1 or higher. And then, if you hit one, you profit. So I don't know if it's one to where you take chalk this week. You kind of, it's just going to be, a BS type thing. So
yeah. I think this tournament's pretty wide open with the ability to score and with the easy course conditions. I mean, it's going to be windy, but this course doesn't get too affected by the wind.
Really matter at all.
If you want to be, have an advantage here for any particular time slots, wave advantages, you can go AM, PM has a slight edge there. But it's nothing that I'm building around right now currently, unless something changes between now and by the time the thing starts. But I don't think so. So yeah, like Teaser saying, birdie or better average or percentage or whatnot. That's a humongous key for me this week. And then bogey avoidance, because you want to make sure that you're not. If you hit some bogeys this week, you're going to be going home pretty dang easily. So bogey avoidance is another big one. But guys that obviously strokes gains approach, birdie better percentages, that's the way to go this week. You're going to see it, probably the final score in the -20s. And
100%.
So you definitely got to to roll the ball in the hole and get pretty dang close to it. So you got any placements you want to go with?
Yeah, I haven't really finalized them at all yet, really just outright so far, but just a couple of names I'm eyeing up. The first guy I'm going to talk about is kind of trending towards one of my favorite plays of the week. I kind of want to give out a guy that I like. Last week was Homa. Worked out pretty well for me. So this week it's a little more risky. He hasn't been playing well as of late, but once again, this guy, like, he's known to roll the rock. That's, his game, and it's Taylor Montgomery. He's 2 to 1 top 20. So there's something about him. Wide open fairways. He doesn't need to be so, so good off the tee. There's room for error. He's known to kind of be a little bit wild off the tee. He hasn't been striking it lately as good as he did his first couple months on tour in the fall swing. But, this course requires a hot putter, and he can do that. I think a stat I was actually looking at in the model I had, he's first in putting from 5 to 10 feet, and I think he's top 5 from 10 to 15 feet. So 10 to 15 is kind of the bread and butter. If you're putting it, that's the birdies are better gained, 15 to 20 around that range. So we kind of like seeing that if he's capitalizing on around that area. So that's one guy.
That was the top 20.
Yeah, 2 to 1.
2 to 1 Taylor. Yeah, and he was a guy. I was talking to you before the stream. I was like, man, I really want to take his outright because he's intriguing me, and I'm looking at these birdie percentages. He is top 10.
Yeah,
he's right there. So it's like he's 6th right there, and definitely a guy to keep an eye on. I think he's like 35 or so to 1. So we might be talking about him a little bit later on. So definitely a guy that I'm putting a lot of emphasis in DFS. I think what he currently is. Let's see what he is. He's 10%. So he's in the value range. You're not going to get too much of a sleeper aspect there, but at 8,700, you can definitely pivot to him instead of some other guys. So I'll go right into my top 20, one of them at least. That's going to be, I'm going to lead off with Matt Kuchar, probably the most solid going golfer that there probably is. And you wouldn't think in a birdie fest he would get after it. He definitely can. Yeah, he got 12th here last year, and his recent form obviously is ideal. 3rd at the Valero, 19th RBC, 23rd at Wells Fargo. A guy that just does. If you're talking about strokes gained approach, that's your guy. He's going to be there. Putter's always consistent. So at plus 125 for top 20, give me that. That's one of my favorite bets of the week. You got anybody else for your top 20?
Yeah, I have 2 more. This one guy I have a little bit behind it. The other guy, I'm not going to really talk much into deep about it, but this next guy, Nate Lashley. If you watched last week, he was kind of in the mix, but he didn't really do much on the weekend.
He just faded hard.
Yeah. He's plus 320. I love that value for a top 20. His rank in the model is actually pretty good. It's 19th. And the funny thing is here, it's like kind of the opposite of why I'm taking this guy. He's not a good putter at all. But this is kind of, his proximity to the hole, 175 to 200 and 200 plus. He's both top 20. That's kind of what you need as well. This week, you're going to be left with those yardages. And then the key stat, which we talked about, opportunities gained. He's 18th in the field this week, his last 50 rounds. So that's, kind of minimizing the bad putting. But he also had 17th here last year in recent form. Let me double check. 27th last week, but he was in contention. He was in the final group, so can't really, fault him. But 39th Mexico Open, 31st RBC Heritage. Not too good, but, there's value at a plus 320 to a guy that can, go low and keep up with some guys. So.
And then I'll throw my next one here at top 20. I'm going to double dip on this one. So he'll be mentioned later on in the show. He's the cover boy. And first one that pretty much just jumped out to me when I was going through the lines is Hideki Matsuyama. Always a guy that I'm willing to he just doesn't get as much love anymore as he used to. I think he was like in the 2000s to start this thing. And then Spieth withdrew, and then he ended up, I think I got it right. I got it 18-1. So 18-1, a solid number here for Hideki. And I'm also going to go top 20 for plus 110 for 1 unit. So I'm double dipping on Hideki. Got 3rd here last year. Masters, he was 16th, Valero 15th, the Players, he was 5th. So recent form's always there. Hasn't played in a little bit, but I'm definitely okay with the time off and then come back into a birdie fest, which is a course that he has ate up before. So give me Hideki this week. Then I'll roll into my last one here. He was not very good last week, but the motto is to go back to guys. So let's go back to Davis Riley this week. Davis Riley plus 230 top 20. I'm only going a half unit here, but man, I think he's like 16th last year here, or 12th, one of those two. I can't remember right off the top of my head. But his recent form, besides putting last week, I'll take that. It was more of Homa he reminded me of Homa last week, where he could very, very well be in it, but his putter was that bad. It was so bad last week. I'm okay with the off week, come back and go to a birdie fest. I'm a guy that I know can shoot low. He's done it on tour plenty of different times. So Davis Riley almost made the outright card, almost did.
Yeah.
But I'm going to go top 20 plus 230.
Yeah, I might add Matsuyama as well, top 20 with you, but the last top 20 I have is Adam Schenk at plus 260. I mean, he's not really kind of a reason behind it, honestly, but he just sometimes plays well, like out of spurts. So I'm just kind of hoping he, is one of those weeks for him. But there's pretty good value there. I'm not sure if I'm going to put it on the card just yet, but I wrote it down for now. So I'm rolling with those for right now, but it can always change. So.
Oh, yeah. Make sure you guys tune in. Make sure you guys tune in each and every night after the show. We'll throw up our official cards. All right, so a top 40 play. I got 3 of them here. They are definitely long shots, and I think this is a tournament that you can take a little bit more risk there for some long shot plays. I'm going to go with Lashley. Once again, I know you like him for top 20. I'm going to go top 40, a little bit safer. What was your top 20?
Plus 320, I think.
Plus 320, yeah. So I'm going to plus 175 to be top 40. So if you want to go a little bit less risk there. Go top 40. You're still getting a pretty good number at plus 175. I'm going to go a half unit on that. And then two guys that I'm going to be playing heavily in DFS, which they aren't technically sleepers, but I think with the getting them plus money here on a top 40 is the way to go. Brandon Wu, who has came on very strong these last several weeks. I kind of wish I was on him these past couple weeks, but I've waited. So it might bite me in the ass, but I still think he can do well here. And then Michael Kim is the other one. You saw him last week fare very well. And I think he rides that momentum into this week very, very easily to get low scores. I'm trying to see where he's at. Where's he at in the model? Woo, he's 36th in the model. He definitely is up there. And Kim is 38th. So we're going to be talking about another Kim here shortly. But Michael Kim, definitely a guy that I think can contend. And so I'm going to play him heavily in DFS, and I'm going to have him in my top 40 for sure. What you got?
I think my one I'm going to go with is Carson Young. The other C Young.
Yeah, not the man. That trips me out when I'm on the ESPN app and I'm trying to look at it and I'm like, what the hell? How's C Young all the way down there?
A couple times. Yeah, I was like, he's not in this tournament, but no, this guy's obviously not as good, but he's plus 260 top 40. His recent form: 15th at Mexico Open, 19th at RBC Heritage, miscut at Wells Fargo last week, but it's a completely different course. 38th at Corrales, Punta Cana, 3rd at Puerto Rico. So all the comp courses, the long courses like that, easier conditions. Birdie Fest he plays well in. The harder courses not so much, but that's irrelevant. So top 40, just make a cut and play decent on the weekend, and we'll get the plus 260 there. So I like the value on that as well.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. But yeah, Carson, he always trips my ass up. Last week it was like they were pretty neck and neck because Cam was just horrific.
Yep.
But yeah, so we got Wu for me, Kim, and Lashley is a top 40 play. And then you got Carson Young. Do you have anybody else?
That's it.
That was it so far.
One I'll mess with this week.
And then you got any first round leaders or matchups you've been eyeing up?
I haven't taken a look yet. I'll probably get into matchups tonight, but I don't think I might do one or two at max. I don't think I'm going to kind of mess with. I don't even know if I'm going to mess with first round leaders. We'll see. That's just going to be a shit show. But
and if I got tripped up because I usually have DraftKings up on my screen over here.
Me too. That's why I didn't really get to check matchups yet. But
the matchups are up, but their damn outrights aren't up. So we went over to FanDuel to just verify all the odds there. But one guy that has not made my card yet, but he's up there in a lot of models. I'm saying up there in a lot of people that are talking about him. And he's in this matchup right here. Intrigues me. It is Maverick McNeely, which is the guy I'm talking about, versus Adam Hadwin. And Hadwin is minus 120 to McNeely being plus 100. I know when I said McNeely before the show, you were like, nope. Don't even worry about it. You're all good. I feel like I'm missing something here, and he's just going to be top 20, top 10, and it's going to piss me off that I did not take him.
Yeah. You could eye him up in matchups if you want to. I mean, I'm actually looking at him now. I mean, I don't know, maybe taking Tom Kim over Jason Day I like. So yeah, I mean, I'll probably put him out later on, but yeah, Tom Kim definitely. I haven't really have much of him this week, so maybe I'll kind of target him in a matchup against Jason Day. I don't really see Jason Day like as a Birdie Fest type guy. So
yeah, me either. And he's getting a little bit of love in the the highest rated golfers for DFS wise ownership. Scotty obviously is going to push like 50% this week. So just to transition a little bit to DFS real quick, my strategy this week is to absolutely fade Scotty Scheffler. If you're playing high risk, do not play him in your lineups, or if you do, put 2 to 3 guys under 5% in your lineup that you hope to go crazy, because everybody's going to have Scotty Scheffler. So, if we're relating this back to the Mexico Open, it just reminds me a lot of what people were doing with John Rahm. I went under the field in him, and didn't have that great of a tournament because he ended up being second place. So I'm hoping maybe he fades this weekend. Scotty doesn't do as well. And, you get lucky, but you go against the grain a little bit in high risk. If you're playing cash games, you're playing anything like that, you got to put them in. You have to. That's just a lock.
I don't think Scheffler wins this week, to be honest. The way he's been putting, man, I don't.
It is.
He's just been missing putts. I don't think that turns around this week. I mean, he's a great player, but it's just he's been more frustrated with the putter lately, and you need that here. I mean, I'm sure he'll be able to still get it to the high teens, like 17, 18, 19. I can see a top 20, but I honestly don't think he wins this week. So
I'm not saying he's going to sit here and miss the cut. No way.
Definitely not.
No shot like that. But you want to just get some leverage on the field. The one way to do that is to just fade the 50 to 60% owned guy that's going to be out there. That's the one thing I did not do last week, and I paid the price because I ate the Cam Young chalk, and it was bad. I mean, he was the highest owned golfer. He was like 40-something%. And I did not expect that. I was expecting it to be anywhere between 25-ish to 30. And I was okay with that because I was still like 50%. But when I only got like a little bit on the field and then he sucked on top of it, I was like, I'm done. Like that was the first time all year, all 20 of my lineups did not cash. It was just so bad. Like I ate the chalk and it was just bad. I literally got blown up. So not making that mistake this week. I'm a fade Scheffler. So talking about ownership again, Day is number 2 at 27%. Then you have Hatton, Matsuyama, Tom Kim, and then Kuchar to round it out. And those are like the guys that are probably going to be 20% or more. Right. So I'm gonna have a little bit more exposure to the guys below it, like Hatton, Matsuyama, Kuchar, Brandon Wu, KH Lee. So some guys like that. A little bit more over the weight on the field there. And then Taylor Montgomery, I like at 10%. He's one of my favorite value plays there. Then we'll give out some sleepers shortly. But yeah, that's kind of my strategy this week for DFS is to fade Scotty. It's all together, not even put in my high risk lineups. That's usually what I play. I play high risk. I don't play much cash games. But if you do play cash, make sure you put Scotty in there. And then just sprinkle them if you do. If you want to play them in your high risk, you just cannot get off of them. Make sure you got 2 or 3 guys under 5%. Have you looked at any sub 5% guys or any long shots that you like?
I haven't really done. I mean, for a guy, I guess Vincent Norman's a guy I was on at Mexico. Yep. He's kind of a young guy coming on, emerging onto the PGA Tour. I think he could be a little sleeper this week. We talked about, I think in the Discord, Will Gordon today. I think he could be another. I don't know if he'll be like a major sleeper. People kind of know about him at this point, but he's 60-1, so I kind of think that's a sleeper as well. If I'm looking through here, those are 2 guys. Let's see who else we got here. A really long shot, Chad Ramey. I don't really know. He kind of just plays well, and Carson Young, I guess I'll throw out as well. So those are just 4. Like those guys will be pretty sleepy out there. So
yeah, and I'm trying to think of guys that like can go low. And McNeely, like McNeely kind of pops off to me. He's sometimes first round leader. That guy sits there. He's at 5%, so you're right there with the sleeper status. The guy that played well here, I think he got a top 10 here last year, Ryan Palmer, and he's coming in at 4% owned. So usually those guys who played well the year before here, a lot of people, that's an easy stat to go find. They gravitate towards them, so maybe he gains a little bit more ownership by the time we go off. Aaron Wise is another guy that can go extremely low. Justin Suh, and then you have another guy that I saw, Eric Cole. Eric Cole has been playing very, very well.
Forgot to talk about him.
So he might make my placement card. By when it's all said and done, I might throw him on there. But man, he's going to be a lot. He's going to be a lot of my DFS lineups. I like the way he's coming in at like 6%. So he's got some sleeper status there. If you really want a true dart throw that maybe could play well, the good old Eric Van Ruin, he is going to either go 30 under or he's going to go 30 over. So he's the extreme dart throw, but that is one guy that I have to throw out there that has potential to go and ruin a lot of lineups this week. So if you're not on him, Just make sure you have a little bit of exposure. Nothing crazy there. Other than that, I'm not seeing too many other big ones or other sleepers that I'm saying. You got anybody else on your mind?
I think we touched all of them that I kind of like, but
yeah. Just think about if a guy has gone like close to like 15 or 20 under in a tournament and see how many times he's done that and go with that. Yep. Like that's an easy way to do it, to break a tiebreaker in your player pool. All right, so last 5 minutes, let's get after some outrights. I got 3. How many you got?
I'm going to do 4 probably.
You're going to do 4? All right, you go first then.
All right, yeah, we kind of already touched on a lot of it, so I'm not going to go into too much detail. The first one we talked about, I think you're on it as well, obviously, is Matsuyama at 20-1. I'll just point out, the model ranks 6th. He's actually decent in putting from 10 to 15 feet, which I was surprised with. I think he was top 15. We talked about his recent form, 3 top 20s in a row. Hasn't played since the Masters, but he's been trending well since that. A good little rest could be good for a guy like him who's coming off an injury. 3rd here last year when he gained 13 strokes. Even every category was positive, even his putting, so that's good to see. Yep. Putting wasn't even negative, so that's awesome. I think he could definitely one of this weeks where he gets his win. He's due for a win, honestly. So maybe he comes this week. And then number 2 is Mr. TPC. We haven't really talked about him yet. KH Lee.
Oh yeah, saving it for the end.
Yeah, it's a little weird. I'm not big into like guys repeating. He already did repeat. It's hard to do 3 times.
Repeating. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really. I'm like I don't know about that, like 3 in a row, but it's crazy how well he plays here. 2 top 20s in his last 4 starts. He got an 8th last week, which is actually pretty good to see. Mm-hmm. I thought we would get like him in the 15-1 range after playing good last week, but 25 I think is actually a pretty good number on him. His putting within 5 to 10 feet, once again, 15th. Par 4 scoring, I think he's 3rd, I believe. Like once again, he loves this course. Reason why I'm taking him. Then lastly, or 2 more, Taylor Montgomery. We kind of touched on this guy. Yep. He's going to be one of my favorites. If you're in a one and done league, I think my 2 favorite. They're a little risky. Montgomery would be more risky, but I think Matsuyama would be the guy I would go with this week if you haven't used him. I actually do love him this week.
That's who I'm going to take if I can still take him. Let me look.
So hopefully, it is a little risky play. I don't know if you haven't used Matsuyama yet, I don't know when you would use him after this, to be honest with you. So I do think he's a great play there. I don't think you would use him in majors. I don't think you would use him in the summer stretch. So
yeah, see, I was already going to take him, or I was going to take Tom Kim, but I took him 3 weeks ago at the Zurich.
Yeah. I like Tom Kim as well, but I'm sure a lot of people have taken him already. So Matsuyama, I like. I
think Matsuyama is going to have a lot more in one and dones because I think everyone's still going to keep Scheffler in their back pocket, or they've already used him for the Masters. So that my strategy. Yeah, I'm going to probably go Hideki. When I was kind of going through it, obviously Spieth was probably the guy that a lot of people would take here. This is like the one that he always plays well at. But right there with him is Hideki. So he's going to be probably the safest play. I'm in first place for mine, so I'm up like 40 points. I'm pretty much playing safe now and making sure I get guys that get me points every single weekend. And hopefully we get a winner with the one and dones. But yeah, so Hideki will be mine too.
Yeah, I think he's a pretty safe play this week, to be honest. So Montgomery 40-1 I got. Obviously, I said he can putt, so that's why I'm taking him. Eric Cole is my last one at 60-1. You mentioned him as a sleeper. 61 is kind of not that great of a number, but once again, this is the stat I've been touching on. It could really steer me in the wrong direction, but he's 4th in putting from 5 to 10 feet, and I think he's 5th in 10 to 15 feet. So another guy, we saw him at the Honda Classic when Chris Kirk won. His putter was bailing him out all week. He strikes it decent. He's not the greatest of strikers. 3 missed cuts in a row. It's not too great, but they were all hard courses. Look for him to kind of get back on track at an easy course condition. So yeah,
I think the year as a whole for Eric Cole has been huge. So
right.
I don't think it's outlandish. I told you I was talking about him before for DFS for being a sleeper. Take him outright. I love it. Keep going there. That I believe he's going to have a good solid weekend here.
I agree. Yep.
All right, so I'll go. So I'm on Matsuyama as well, obviously double dipping. Then my 14-1 outright is going to be Tom Kim. That is, I think I pretty much set the tone there. I would play him as my one and done. I've already played him, but a guy, he's got one missed cut in his last like 10 events, and a guy that just absolutely can tear up a golf course. Give me all of Tom Kim, who has also placed 17th here last year. A guy putting, strokes gained approach, kind of checks all the boxes for me this week. It's a crazy number. It's the first thing I told Teaser. I said, I cannot believe I'm taking Tom Kim 14-1.
I couldn't do it.
And I said the same thing when I took Finau 8-1. I was like, I cannot believe I'm taking Finau 8-1. It's just stupid. I don't like it whatsoever. But if he's going to win the tournament, I'm going to look like a genius afterwards, and I'll take the 14-1 profit. I'm fine with that. So that's kind of the play and the role that I got here for Tom Kim. Seen a lot of people on him, but I think it's for good measure, and I'm going to bite with them as well. With like last week with Cam Young, we'll see. Hopefully, it doesn't bite me in the ass. And then the last one for me, this was straight taken from the birdie or better percentage, being the top 10, a guy that I did not think was going to be there, and another guy that is just popping in some models, and Tom Hoge. I don't want to miss it. He's going to piss me off if he's in all these models, and I'm reading up on him and I'm saying this, and it's like, wow, it was right there in my face. Why did I not take him? Yep. Hoge is a guy there. If you want to be a little bit more safe and maybe take a top 20, I'd be okay with that. But he is going to be not that far owned in DFS, 11%. So he's a value play. He's coming in, with a pretty dang good value. I've seen him as high as 40-1. I got 35-1. So give me Tom Hoge this week. Maybe we strike lightning with a bottle there, but I do like him in DFS. And if you want to take top 20, go right ahead. So you got two more for us?
Yeah, he's a tough one to cap, Hoge. But
yeah,
he can either just miss the cut or just go low. But yeah, I don't mind him this week. But no, those are four outrights I'm rolling with. But yeah, I think we touched on a lot of people already. I think just kind of, just don't really go too big this week. We got a major next week, so
yes.
Just take my advice would be, I'm kind of going with the value top 20. Just put maybe a half a unit on them. If you hit one, you're in the clear profit. But just ending the show really is, I think, my favorite play is Matsuyama. So I'm gonna roll with that. I think if you want to be different, I know you'll probably go Tom Kim, but we're both on Matsuyama. So
yeah, Matsuyama is my one and done. I'm gonna play him on the one and done. Tom Kim would be, but I've already used him.
Yeah.
But I do love Tom Kim. I wouldn't take a 14-1 if I didn't like the guy that much.
I don't think you can go wrong with either of them this week. I don't see it, both of them missing the cut. So I think both of them will get close top 20, maybe,
And like he's 20% owned in DK. Like I might go like 40 to 50%, like go double on the field. And that's just the strategy. Like if you like somebody, make sure like your lineups dictate that, and lineup in weeks past. Sometimes I've let the chalk kind of teach me how to do it, and it's bitten me in the ass. Instead of saying, okay, like Tony Finau, when I took that outright, he was, I don't know, 30%, 40%. No, he's 30% owned, 20 or 30%. And like, I just matched the field because I was like, I don't really like the number, but it's, I was kind of like in and out. Right. So I've just been like, no, let's go all in. Let's do that. Right. And we got, let's get another positive card, fellas. Yes, sir. Yes, we got to do that. So yeah, appreciate you guys tuning in. We are out of here. We'll be back next week for the second major of the season. Hopefully we can talk about another outright, as we've provided you with a bunch of information, bunch of cards. So we will have our official cards later on this evening. Make sure you guys check out both of our Twitters at DotBets and at Teaser Nation. Give us a follow if you have not already. We appreciate you guys tuning in. See you guys next week.